Welcome to the Dad and Son Sports Talk featuring me, Dad, your host here. And we got Salem in the studio next door. How you doing here, buddy? All right, that's great to hear. So this is our feature episode. We got a lot to talk about with Super Bowl 53 coming up. Tom Brady in his 9th Super Bowl appearance, which is just ridiculous to think about. So more on that coming up, but on this segment, we're going to be dealing specifically with a question. And for us, that question was answered actually a couple years ago, back in the 2016 season. And that question is, who is the GOAT of the NFL? Salem, you want to go ahead and define that for them? Exactly, the greatest of all time. So let's think a moment for what it means to be the greatest of all time. The dictionary gives us a pretty good starting point. It mentions it's a person who's achieved importance or distinction in a field. So when we consider the greatest doctor, we're going to be thinking about somebody who saved the most lives or created some type of cure for a disease and helped a lot of people. If we're going to be thinking about the greatest movie of all time, we're going to be thinking about which one won the most awards, which one had the most opening sales and numbers, or the one that impacted our culture the most. But personally, we can say, I like these specific movies because it fits my certain idea of what a great movie should be. And we do the same thing with football, because those are just subjective ideas, but, we can point back to facts. So with football, we do the same thing in that we consider the greatest player to be the one typically who's a quarterback for our team, or the greatest personality, or the one who has the most swagger, different things like that. But let's consider for a moment what the NFL system is designed for within itself, and that is to be a world champion. That's what it is year round, to beat the competition, to be at the top of the NFL and win the Super Bowl. So that's what it's about. It's about Super Bowls. Again, that claim is what, Salem? Right, personal preference. So Aaron Rodgers has the better arm. We'll just go with that. But consider for a moment the greatest running back of all time. We don't think about who had the thickest thighs or who had the thickest bodies to tower through people. What we think about is the numbers they accomplished. We consider Emmitt Smith, who had the most rushing yards for a running back. So similarly, we do the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. We have that subjective idea that his arm is better. But objectively, with what the NFL is designed to do, as far as being the greatest within it, achieving the most records, we know, my friends, that that's Tom Brady. Now, the debate a few years back was Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady as the greatest of all time. Peyton Manning was said to always have the best numbers, the highest numbers, all the records. And Tom Brady was the one who had the most rings. But now Tom Brady has both. He has the rings and the numbers. Joe Montana was obviously incredible and won 4 championships, which is amazing. But for me, the debate ended a couple years ago when Tom Brady mounted the greatest comeback in Super Bowl and NFL history. He was down 28-3 and brought his team back to win the Super Bowl. So for me, that's what separated Tom Brady from Joe Montana. This argument, Salem, makes me laugh every time, because the premise is that somehow it's better to lose in the playoffs than in the Super Bowls. Now, granted, it probably hurts more to lose in the Super Bowl, but as far as greatness is concerned, obviously, Tom Brady has won 9 AFC championships and been to the Super Bowl 9 times. He's won 5 Super Bowl rings. Joe has won 4 AFC championships. He's won 4 Super Bowl rings. So with all this being said, and this is just a nutshell, obviously we can get into a lot more, but in a nutshell, this shows that Tom Brady has accomplished the greatest of all time, and he has become the GOAT of the Super Bowl. He's not the next Joe Montana. He's the first Tom Brady.